any quicker than,
You don't feel especially pH balanced right now?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
81's a lot. I'm doing
Well,
70 hard and I like, why am I doing this? This is a
yeah,
lot of
it's
work.
a lot. It's a lot of work drinking a gallon of water a day. So, hey, mortgage coach community. Hey, Paul, are we I know we're recording. Are we live in the group yet?
We are live on Zoom and on Facebook.
I love it. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. I know it takes a couple of minutes for people to jump in. I got a call the other day from Mr. Dave Savage, and he asked me to do a Friday takeover. I have been sick as a dog. You guys, if you guys have seen me before, I don't normally wear glasses. I'm not wearing these cosmetically. I'm wearing these because I normally wear contacts and I can't see you guys without them. I had a really bad sinus infection that went into my eyes, so I can't wear contacts right now. So I'm going to harness my inner mortgage nerd like Denise Donahue and bring my glasses today. And the really cool thing is when Dave asked me, he was like, hey, would you mind taking over the call on Friday, top producer call? First person I thought of was Shannon Schinkel. Incredible, top producer. And so I called her and I said, hey, you want to do this call with me? I think we could bring a ton of value to the mortgage coach community. And we kind of brainstormed a topic, and I know a lot of the topics that Dave has brought into the group. I know that I have personally talked a lot about making sales calls, having great calls and closing on those calls, closing on the call for the meeting, getting the meeting with the realtor, and then saying the right things because what you say matters, but closing for business in that meeting. And so one of the ways, so I've gotten two separate pieces of feedback from making cold calls or sales calls. Number one, I don't ever want to do them. I never did them. I'm not going to do them. I'd rather go out of business than to make a cold call. Okay, so that's group one. Group two said, hey, I understand how you're making these calls. What you're saying works. It's actually getting appointments, and I'm just going to get better at those. So let's take both groups. And for the groups that are making sales calls to realtors and getting the appointments, now it's all about leverage. So instead of making 100 cold calls a week, what if we made warm calls that led to a group of realtors coming together, and then you could close that group? That's called leverage. And I was talking with Shannon about this, and I think this is just an incredible topic. I think it's an incredible strategy that a top producer like Shannon and a top producer like myself over the years have really taken our time and leveraged our time to get more meetings. And so what we're going to talk about today is leveraged events. Now, leveraged events in regards to what Shannon and I are talking about are like lunch and learns, lunch and earns, going into a real estate office. So that's really what I've used my sales calls or cold calls for, is I'm calling broker owners, managing brokers, big team leaders. I want to get in front of a lot of people instead of just having coffee with one person. So I'll have coffee with a whale, but I want to have coffee with a group of people. I want to spend my 1 hour with a group of people. That's leverage. And so we're going to show you today how we do weekly, monthly lunch and learns, how you get into a real estate office, how you set up your events, the topics that you use, what you say. And I know Dave's not here today. Dave is at an event with Deb Bird, and it's exactly what to say from Phil Jones, right? And so what you say matters. If you just show up to these events and you're like, hey, I'm Dan Keller, and thank you all for coming today. And today we're going to learn about X, Y, and Z. It's not like that. It's not like that by any means. And so Shannon and I are going to teach you what we say and how what we say really matters. And so I have to encourage you, everyone that's listening, you've got to take advantage of the chat. So questions, we need you to fill out your question. Just post your questions in the chat. If I'm talking, Shannon's going to watch the chat. Shannon's talking, I'm going to watch the chat. This is something that Shannon and I have been doing in our business for 15 plus years. It's not something that we just started doing a year ago. And so this will take some time to master. So before we get going, I want to introduce Shannon. I met Shannon about 3 years ago in a coaching program that we were in. Immediately became attracted to her as a person and her as a business person. So Shannon, incredible wife, been married 22-ish years. I know that because I've been married about the same. We had that in common. We both have middle-aged kids, teens. She's not only an incredible wife, an incredible mom, but holy crap, I don't know how she does it all. She has an incredible mortgage business, top producing loan officer, branch manager, has a team. People sometimes ask me, Dan, I searched for the answer to this question. Can you have it all? Can you have a great income? Can you have a great marriage? Can you be a great parent? Can you be a great friend? Can you be a great team leader? Yes, you can. And Shannon Schinkel has proven that theory, answer that question to a T. So it's like my utmost honor to have Shannon here today. Shannon, if I missed something in that intro, why don't you take a second, introduce yourself, where you're from, and then we'll get started on leverage events.
No, Dan, that was incredible. As I was listening, I was like, who is he talking about? Because I definitely don't feel like all those things, though I work really hard at them every day. So I'm in Colorado Springs. I have been in the mortgage industry full time for about 14 years and really just felt like I'm going to listen to people who are more successful than me, and I'm going to do what they say because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to figure stuff out on my own. Like if somebody tells me to punch a baby, I'll punch that baby. So I'm honored because I've learned so much from so many people to be able now to share it with others. In hopes that our industry is better. The people who make it through this hard time just come out of it stronger, better, a better resource for their family and for their referral partners.
Yeah. So tell us a little about your market, Colorado Springs. I mean, is all of your business in Colorado Springs, or do you have to go outside of the area? Tell us a little about your market there.
So our market is largely military.
Okay.
There are about 7 bases here, and unfortunately, because of that cost of housing here and higher rates, the military has been largely priced out of buying homes right now. Their BAH rates have not kept up with how much it costs to buy here. So I was largely military, probably, or VA, like 70% government up till a couple years ago. And then I had to pivot a little bit. I started getting licensed in states in which military had a high presence. So when people left here, they would get orders to another state and then I could help them there. So I did make a shift just because I had to. I'm licensed in about 20 different states, but most of my stuff is in Colorado Springs.
Love it. Love it. Are you guys snowed in right now?
So yesterday we were under a foot of snow and everything was shut down. And today the sun is out and you can't even really tell it snowed.
Whoa. Okay, cool. All right. I love it. So Julie in the comments, yeah, I was laughing as well when you said, I just do what I'm told, even if my coach says you got to punch a baby. Now, Shannon would not punch a baby. She's a
I
mother.
would not do it, but I would not like it.
She does have, what do you have, three kids?
Yeah, I have 2 at home and a bonus kiddo. So my daughter got her permit on Monday, so.
Yeah, I don't see Shannon punching her kids. Now, I will tell you, your son, however, is really into boxing, so that's probably where the punching thing came from. So she's probably punched him a couple times or not, but not a baby, Julie. So
Luckily, no one's ever said that.
yeah, and the funny thing about Shannon, like if you ever get to meet Shannon in real life, like she's like this big, but she is just a freaking badass. So I love that. Paul asked, are you still working with Chad Cooley in the Breakfast Club? Absolutely. I get coached by him personally every week. Freaking stud, especially in this market. You guys, being able to articulate what you want to say in the right way is so important. And he's the ultimate sales coach. I've yet to find someone that's better at sales in the whole entire outside of our industry, in our industry. So yeah, we just finished up a 60-day burn. I don't think we're going to do another one. I'm kind of focusing more on just leadership in my region and production. So if we do another 60-day burn with Chad Cooley, I'll keep you guys posted. So let's jump into this. So leveraged events, excuse me, and lunch and learns, whether you're in a real estate office or you're hosting something outside of a real estate office. Let's just talk about, I want to start out by asking you, so why do you do them? Why? And then let's talk about how. Those two things first, and then we'll kind of get into dynamics of topics, length. Are you serving lunch? Are you, how much money are you spending? Stuff like that. So Why are you doing them, and then how?
Okay. So leveraged events not only leverage time, but also money. If we were going to have coffee with 20 realtors, on the cheap side, that's about $15 each. So about $300. And with drive times and actually sitting down for coffee, it's probably about 25 hours. And hopefully we get 3 or 4 leads from those 20 coffees. A leveraged event allows us to condense that all to get in front of 20 people, but cut it down to 2 hours, which includes prep time. It allows us to, serve snacks, lower the cost, and kind of weed out the people who may not ever send us deals anyway. It's a great way to be impactful in a short period of time and to add value. If you have a topic in which people can benefit from, it's a little less parasitey. And I think sometimes as lenders, we kind of just latch on to people without offering a ton back. So as we're trying to meet new people, it's a great way to distinguish ourselves from our competition, because we're not only taking the time to present this information, but we're doing something that will help your future business.
So I just read, I've got some notes here. So 20 coffees is at least 20 plus hours, from driving, commuting, waiting. Realtors are very rarely on time, right? Yeah, set up. So 20 coffees, 20 plus hours. Lunch and learn, 3 plus hours. 20 coffees equals at least $300. Lunch and learns, well, my lunch and learns up here, the way I do them, it's at least $250. So, and then out of your 20 initial coffees with people, you're averaging about 3 leads. So very rarely do I sit down with a realtor and then boom, now I could get better at this. But very rarely do I sit down with a brand new realtor that I've never met with before, never done business with, and immediately they send me a lead. Now I'm getting better at that because we have a few unique programs that I'm closing with now. And I'm using, we'll talk about this at the end, but my closing, I'm getting aggressive with my final words. So some people call them your closing script. I call them my final words. So in our meetings, at lunch and learns, when I'm sitting down with realtors for the first time, as we depart, I'm letting them know what to expect next. Like, this is what's next in our relationship. This is what's next in me helping you make an extra 30 grand in the next 60 days. Number 1, we're going to have a follow-up meeting at my office. Number 2, do you have anyone in 2024 that did not buy yet or indicated to you that they were going to wait until the spring market or wait until rates dropped? That is not a great strategy. I have data. I use MortgageCoach. I'm going to share with you guys a 5-year net worth analysis that I give to all my clients. I'm going to share with you a cost of waiting analysis with a 5-year net worth analysis that I give to all of my clients that shows you that waiting for lower rates, waiting for the spring market is not going to be a great idea. Okay. So that's how I'm closing with these agents to maybe up my ratio is right there with yours, Shannon. 20 coffees, maybe 3 are like, hey, yeah, I got a call yesterday and yeah, I'll give you a shot, Dan. That happens, same thing, right around 2, 3, 4 times out of 20. So the numbers, Shannon just hit it right on the head. This is a way, leveraged events, keyword, leverage. Now, okay, so we talked about the why. Now let's talk about like how you're doing it, how you're getting people there, how you're deploying your message, the ins and outs of, okay, we got the event, now how you do it.
So I feel like, there's this fear in me. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but you get nervous about throwing a party that no one actually wants to come to. And sometimes lunch and learns can be like that. And in the beginning, I tried it. It wasn't a huge success. And I thought, oh, this doesn't work. But I think it's because I didn't target my content to the people I was speaking to. It targeted to me. So I've changed it a bit. And I've tried to both incorporate things that are relevant for realtors, but also people that are relevant. If you say, if as a lender, if like, hey, let's make this your best 2025 it can be, that's cool. But if, like my last lunch and learn, I brought in a realtor in our market who had the best year she ever had in 2024. And not very many people can say that. And she was willing to share and she taught my class. And
Yep.
that room was full. So targeting it so that it's not about me, but about my audience has made a huge difference. I also have brought in a panel of appraisers, and they presented, and realtors could ask questions, and that was a full room. Uh, a couple months ago, I did one on understanding body language and how to tell what people are saying without their words. And that was a full room. And none of these really, I mean, in a way, have to do with real estate, but none of them have to do with me, but making people around me better, which is
Yeah.
the goal. And is less self-serving than, hey, I have great rates, and the things that everybody says.
Yeah. That's what made me think of you the other day when Dave called me and said, hey, would you like to host the Friday Mastermind? When I was thinking of topics, one, I've got two big events in February. So I was like, oh, this is relevant. But that's what made me think of you. You and I we kind of stay connected every week, every other week, just on business, kind of keeping each other in check and accountable. And we talked about a month ago, and you said you were doing this body language. I was like, holy crud. What an amazing lunch and learn. Like, how to be able to read if you're in a seller's living room, how to read their body language. If you're at Starbucks sitting across from them, your body language, it's not always what you say. It could be your impressions. It could be your, my wife has told me this for years. She was like, Dan, look happy. You have like massive resting bitch face if you're not paying attention. So like look happy, like look interested, and some of us just look that way without even trying. And so how we appear, our body language is so important. And so I love that. So let's recap. You did a body language one. You brought in a guest. So on appraisals, that's huge. Appraisals, you don't always have to be, like Shannon said, you don't have to be the main event. Now, I personally, most of mine, I am the main event, which is probably something I should maybe steer away from and start bringing in guests. But I'll bring in guests like when it comes to like video and social media. I'll bring in my video crew from the American Dream TV. I'll bring in a local video editor. I'll bring in our head of marketing that runs our video studios. But bringing in guests, and they add the value, and then you close it down with, hey, if you want more of this, you got to work with me. All right. So we do this every single week. I have these guys in my office. If you want to build and grow your video game, working with me is important, and I'll get you there quicker than you going out and paying a bunch of money to try to figure it out on your own, because I've done that for you. I've spent the last 12 years, one of the first mortgage lenders that was on YouTube. You can fact check that, October 2008. I started my YouTube. So I've been doing video a long time. The good news with that, I figured it out the hard way. If I could do it all over again, I just would have hired someone. But when I was starting out, I had no money. So I kind of had to figure it out. So I love this. Are there any other, since we're on topics, Shannon, are there any other topics that are like home runs when you host leverage events?
I've tried to tweak it a bit, in which I offer, like, here's how you could run your real estate business by using practices of other companies. Here's what Disney does to create magic, even though there is no actual magic at Disney. Here's how the Four Seasons is known for their hospitality, and here's how we can steal their ideas. And so taking just those outside the box or unreal estate topics, but making them related has had a huge impact. And I've also, just side note real fast, Dan, I also say, kind of create a FOMO. We're down to the last number of tickets. Tickets will sell out. This will be the last time that I present this class for free, to create that sense of, I need to be there now. And that has increased attendance a ton. When it was me sitting in a room and like, hey, we're going to talk about 1031 exchanges, I found that was only really relevant if someone was about to do an exchange. Super important information, but just not, it was a timely thing, and stars had to line up to get there. But
Yeah.
personal growth, their business, especially now, is relevant to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, you guys, we're going to come back. So we're going to transition into, all right, so you've got an event space, you've got a topic. How do you pack 20, 30? What is the right number? How many? But then how do you, I was so worried 22 years ago when my wife and I got married. I was like, what if no one shows up? Right. And I still have that every event that I do. I'm like, what if no one shows up? So I'm going to be very transparent and humble here. Some of the best lunch and learns I've ever done have been at nice venues that I thought were going to be a home run, and 6 people showed up and there was 30 chairs. So the best, I was able to connect with those 6. I was able to be super humble with them going, oh my gosh, I had 27 RSVPs. Why didn't anyone show up? Well, I guess you guys are in for a treat because I'm going to deliver 10x the value, and 22 of your competitors just missed out on some incredible content that you're going to be able to sell more homes because you're here, and they're going to miss out on it, and you're going to be able to beat them out when you go up against them. So that's still a worry of mine, but don't let that get in the way. I mean, sometimes I've had like 3 show up. I do coffee with Kellers, where I'll have 15 to 20 people consistently, and then one Friday, 3 people will show up. We can hang
So
out, connect more.
my budget currently is less than yours. I have
Okay.
done the big events. I have done the, $1,000 minimum for a restaurant, and I have had the 4 people who get tired of listening to me by the end. So I tweaked it a little bit to be at my office. My last one was at a builder's model, and which helped them get eyes on the house, and I brought snacks. So currently, lunch and learn's probably not the right word for it, like a brunch and learn, but it's about a $50 budget. And I get step food that's not perishable that I could give to my team. I could save for next time so that the cost is less expensive. If I had a bad turnout, it didn't really cost me much. And people don't seem to mind. When you go to the nicer places, there's always those people who come because they want the free dinner. And when you're not offering that, not quality of people is better, but the conversion is better because it's not someone who's there with their hand out.
Yeah.
Because they're not coming for my free granola bar.
So that's what I love about you. You're budget conscious. I do every 6 weeks, I do one at an external event, and the budget for me is $250. That includes a light lunch spread, and some drinks. And I'm spending $250 to $300. That's where I'll put 30 to 35 agents. That's max. The ones I consistently do are much like yours, Shannon. Very, very low. I'm not spending more than $50 or $60 on coffee and like a yogurt bar or something like that. So this is a good opportunity. Get in a chat, write down, give us any questions that you have. What we're going to do real quick is I'm going to transition. We're going to come back with Shannon in a minute and talk about, okay, we've got the topic, we've got the location, we got the venue. It could be at a real estate office, it could be offsite, it could be at our office. How do we get people to show up? How do we get people to show up? So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about what to say. But before that, I'm going to share with you guys some gold. I'm going to give you my slide deck. This is the #1 lunch and learn topic. I've done this at 5 real estate offices in the last 3 weeks, and it's a slam dunk home run. I did it in front of 130 agents the other day virtually with EXP, and it was a home run. I did get 6 leads. 6 agents reached out to me after this Zoom call, which was incredible. So I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to put the PDF in the MortgageCoach group under files. You're going to reach out to Deb Bird. Deb Bird will recreate this and brand this for you. She'll charge you like something super inexpensive, but she can make it your own. I'm telling you, this 6 or 7 page slide deck is huge. So I want to share it with you guys real quick because I'm going to walk you through a few things that before I share it, hold on. Before I share it, I think we have to understand when we're meeting with realtors, there's a formula to getting business from realtors if they don't know you. One, you have to be impressionable. Okay. I want you guys, if you're not driving, if you're in your office, I want you to write this down. Okay. And I learned this from a really good mortgage professional in Arizona. I know Shannon, you know her, Lizzie Hoffer. She's amazing. Big producer, big team. There's 2 things that you have to understand that you are in front of realtors, okay? And you have to pick which one you are. So, #1, you're either super funny and entertaining. You're either super funny or entertaining, or you're the coach who, when you walk into the room, they already know that you're a top producing loan officer. They already know of your reputation, and they are going to listen, okay? So you've got their attention. So #1, you have to either be super fun and entertaining, or #2, you have to have a strong presence in the market where they're coming and they're going, oh, hey, I'm listening to Shannon today. She's a baller. I've never worked with her, but I've heard she is an absolute stud in the mortgage industry. Okay. So pick which one you are, and then you design your presentation around that. Now, I'd like to say I'm a former coach. I do a lot of videos on social media. I do a lot of like newsletters. I send a lot of content out to real estate agents. I'm in a lot of real estate agent offices. I'm wired as a coach. I'm wired as an instructor. I think I have a pretty good reputation and presence in my market. So I am not, if you know me, I am not super funny and entertaining. My wife is always telling me that wasn't funny. I was like, I was just funny. She's like, that wasn't funny. I'm not a funny dude. I am not entertaining. And so I know who I am. I'm the coach. I'm going to help you make $30,000 in commission in the next 60 days. I'm not going to make you laugh. Okay. The other one could be like, hey, we're going to have a good time. We're going to go to happy hour. You're going to have a great time today, and you're going to learn some stuff, and we're going to be friends. And through that, you're going to send me deals. I'm the opposite. I'm going to help you make money. We're going to be in a relationship together. We're going to have some fun. I like to fish, but I'm not all giggles, and I'm not fun, and definitely not entertaining. Okay. So you got to pick that. I think that's really important when you're doing these events, is understanding who you are. And that ties into how you deliver your message. Now, content-wise, I want to share this with you guys. So you got to have a hook. I've learned this through marketing, you guys. You got to have a really good hook. I've done a lot of coaching with Renee Rodriguez. And if you haven't coached with Renee, go back through the Mortgage Coach community. Go find any video coaching call that Renee did. You'll learn from this. So here's my hook. First off, it's problems and solutions for real estate agents. That's the title of my slide deck. I send this to the brokers owners. So they're like, wow, agents have problems. DK has solutions. Okay. Now, the topic of my presentation, hey, so Mr. and Mrs. Broker Owner, I want to come into your office. I need a minimum of 15 minutes, but no more than 30, to share the top 5 non-traditional mortgage programs that every real estate agent needs to know in 2025. These will put more closings in your office. And so, Mr. Broker Owner, you get paid when your agents cap, up until when they cap, right? So if I could help some of your agents that really aren't doing a whole lot, that may or may not cap, help them sell 1 or 2 more homes, you're still going to make a cut off of that. That puts more money in your P&L. Life is good. Your agent's making more money. They're going to be more loyal to you long term. Yep. Okay, cool. So the top 5 non-traditional home loan programs that every real estate agent needs to know going into 2025. Now, before I share that, I'm going to give you a real quick state of the market with some news you can use. So the first thing I do is I talk about the CFPB. We all heard this over the last month. The CFPB came out and they said, hey, medical debt, no longer reporting on credit reports. They're going to require that to make that end. That's going to be great, you guys. So here's what it means. That means that $49 billion in medical debt is getting removed from credit reports in America. It's going to impact 15 million Americans. Okay, cool. What does that mean for us as real estate agents, us as mortgage lenders? Well, the CFPB says this is going to lead to 22 to 25,000 new mortgage applications. Holy crud. So now these are people applying for mortgages that couldn't qualify, or they applied in the past and got declined. Now they're back in the game. We need to be the vehicle that gets this news out. Now, sadly, this was released during the election. So the election news and drama overshadowed all of this. So what we need to do next today, you need to make a short video. I did it on Instagram, 1 minute or less. Hey, I don't know if you saw the news. You probably didn't, because the news was too busy talking about the election. But this is huge. And then you just take these bullet points, you make a short video, and then you get this out to your entire database, and you see how many leads, how much business you can generate from this news. So then I go like this. Hey, was this valuable? How many of you guys heard of this? You probably got an email from a mortgage lender, but not explained in this manner. Yeah? And they all raised their hand. Cool. You think if you sent this out to your database, you would generate a lead? Great. Okay, so I'm already valuable to you guys, and I'm just in slide number 1. I've got 8 more. Okay, cool. So number 2. Now this one, give me 1 second. This one is I'm giving a state of the market. Okay. Shannon, thumb up. Can you see my screen? Thumb up, thumb down. Okay, cool. Now I give a state of the market. This is from Mortgage News Daily. So a year ago, interest rates in America were about 7.08. Today, they're about 7.08, maybe 7.11, 7.08, but pretty much unchanged. Now you have to understand that last year, mortgage rates dropped as low as 6.125. And we thought that that was it. Finally, rates are going to come down. But guess what happened? 8 days later, they went right back up. So how I tee up this slide, you guys, is, and this is, again, important, what you say matters. So how I tee up this slide is like, how many of you realtors, when you're at Starbucks or you're at a soccer game with your kids and people know that you sell real estate or they ask you what you do and you go, I sell real estate. How many of them, the next question is, oh, hey, how's the market? What do you think housing is going to do in 2025? Anytime someone asks me, I was at a sportsman show the other day. I have a podcast, and once a month I do the outdoor edition of it because I like to fish a lot. And a guy was like, dude, love your podcast. Hey, mortgage guy, love your podcast. Because on the side of my boat, it says my Instagram handle, which is my mortgage guy, Dan. And I'm like, right on, thanks. And he goes, hey, what are rates going to do in 2025? Is Trump going to lower them? And I was like, well, first of all, Trump's not going to lower interest rates. The Fed will lower the Fed rate. Mortgage rates may drop as a result, but I think the government is going to purchase, based on what they said, purchase treasuries, which could cause mortgage rates to drop. They've been very vocal about that. So possibly, but here's the deal. We all as realtors, we all as mortgage lenders get that question asked. Now, real estate agents, and I don't ask them if they say this because most of them do, and so do mortgage lenders. I'll say this. Please do me a favor and never, ever, ever, ever say this, what I'm about to tell you, ever again. How many of you guys have heard, hey, what are rates going to do? What's the housing market going to do in 2025? How many have heard this reply? Well, if I had a crystal ball, right? Never say that ever again, because here's the deal, you guys. How unprofessional is that? Think of it this way. You go to a doctor. Now, I have a bad back because I played years of baseball and I just threw my body all over the place, into the wall, into the ground, and my lower back is horrible. I'll probably need surgery one day. If I'm getting ready to go into surgery and I'm lying on the bed in my hospital gown and I'm like, God, doc, I got a ton of anxiety about this. I just need to know, like anesthesia, the surgery, you're gonna be close to my spine. What are the chances of something going wrong? And what are the chances of me walking again pain-free and living again pain-free? If the doctor said, well, Dan, if I had a crystal ball, you know what I want the doctor to say? Dan, well, this will be my 1244th surgery, exactly like this, solving the exact problem that you have. Now, what I can tell you, with men between the age of 45 and 50, where you're at, with the injury that you have, with the amount of them that I've done, you're going to have a very, very good chance of coming out of this and walking pain-free, maybe even playing baseball again pain-free, fishing pain-free. Now, there's a slight chance, but a very, very, very small chance that something could go wrong. But I don't like to focus on those because they're so small. The likelihood is 99.97, whatever you might say. And then he tells me, it makes me feel good about his experience, about the numbers, about the age group, about the surgery type, all of that. We need to hold ourselves to that standard. You guys in the mortgage industry, this is what I do when your clients ask me, Dan, when should I lock? Dan, what's the market look like this year? Dan, should I wait until I'm thinking about waiting to the spring? If I reply back to your client with this information, is that valuable? Or would you like me to do what other mortgage lenders, the most of them do, and go, well, if I had a crystal ball, but what I can tell you right now is Barry Habib said this. That's not the right way, okay? So slide number 2, I'm soft selling my professionalism by giving them a sales tip on how to present themselves more professionally in the market. And then I'm also, look at this, telling them. So in order for me to answer that question, what are rates going to do in 2025? You have to understand where we are, where we've come from, and what economists are saying about the future. And so I share this slide with them. I share this data with them. Now, please let us not remember that in October of 2023, right before 2024, we were locking 30-year fixed rates at 8, 8.25, 8.5. And in that market, when rates were really high up here in the Pacific Northwest, we still we still saw 6.8% appreciation in 2023. Now that went away. So the market wasn't going to handle that. It went away. Rates dropped back down to the sevens. And then look, in 2024, year over year, we saw about 7. Now, what the economists that I follow that are very accurate say is this. The economists at Realtor.com, at the end of 2025, they project rates in the low 6s. Now, the National Association of Realtors, their economists, that's in your space, realtors, they're expecting near 6. Now, I like Barry Habib. I think he's very accurate. I like the content. He's in the trenches every single day. So I trust him. And then if I look back over the last 8 years, in hindsight, he's been the most accurate on predictions. Now, Barry and his team at MBS Highway are predicting 575. So this is where I bring in Mortgage Coach. So if I take the data that I have, local real estate economists in the greater Seattle area, they're saying that in 2025, we're expecting 10 to 12.6% appreciation. Last year, we saw 8.6 to 10. Okay. So if I take 10% appreciation year over year, if I have a client that comes to me and says, Dan, I'm going to wait for rates to drop. Okay, cool. Or I'm going to ask you, do you have any clients that are sitting on the fence? Then you're going to say, yeah, I got these 4 people. I just can't get them to budge. Cool. Introduce them to me. I'm going to send them this report. So if you were to buy now at 800 grand at 7.11, 30-year fixed, your monthly payment is going to be $5,684 with taxes and insurance and PMI. Okay, total monthly payment. If you wait a year and you're like, yeah, I beat the market. I'm so smart because I looked at Zillow and I looked at Redfin and Bankrate.com and I beat the market and I got a 6.25 rate. Yes, Mr. Smart Tech person, you did, but you lost because look, you had to pay almost 100 grand more for the house. And look what your monthly payment did. Your monthly payment's $5,920 instead of $5,684. Oh, shoot. Yeah, this is real info. Now, here's the catch. In the Seattle marketplace, because we have low inventory, we're going to have year over year appreciation per the economist about 10%. But what I can tell you, and real estate agents, please help me answer this. If rates drop a full percentage point, home values are already going to go up 10%, even if it's 7%. But if they drop a full percentage point, do you think we'll have more multiple offer situations, more than 1, more than 2 or 3 offers? Every real estate agent's hand goes up. Cool. What happens when we get multiple offers? The price gets pushed up. So that 10% now goes to 15 or 20%. Would you agree? And they're like, yes. So the actual true price of waiting a year could be more than 10%. Okay, so here's what I suggest. You buy now at 800 grand. Then when rates do drop a year from now, when it's the right time, when you're working with a professional that's watching the market, we lock them in at 6.25. Now they're paying $543 a month. They're saving $640 a month, but look at their loan amount. They locked in that lower purchase price, which gives them that lower loan amount, meaning they're not overpaying for that same home. Now, the next level, that's cost of waiting. Let's look at this decision long-term. 5 years down the road, the decision to buy at 800 grand at 7.1% adds $496,000 to their total net worth. I do this through Mortgage Coach. It's a total net worth analysis. I shorten the period down to 5 years, and I look at net worth instead of PMI or principal paid. Okay, it's really simple. They teach you how to do this at Mortgage Coach. So I do screenshots of this and I share this with every single client. Now, real estate agents, have you ever seen this before? All of them, their jaws are on the table. They say no. I had one agent raise their hand the other day and I was like, cool, you're working with a Mortgage Coach person. Awesome. Now, the other thing that I always drop into here is make sure you're following real estate agents. Make sure you're following NAR Research on Instagram. They post all the time. They post a lot of data, but once a month, they post month over month, year over year, and month over month surveys. The National Association of Realtors says that for every 1% drop in 30-year fixed rates, that'll bring 4 million new home buyers into the market. Guys, we need to get good at presenting data from economists like that. So real estate agents, if 4 million new home buyers across the country came into the market, and last month, the National Association of Realtors said that in December of 2024, they surveyed all the closings in America, and every closing in America on average had 2.1. You can fact check me on this. Go to NAR Research. You'll see this had 2.1 offers per closed listing. Bring 4 million new home buyers into the market. Do you think that 2.1 offers per closed listing is going to go up? All the real estate agents' heads go like this. I'm like, great. So this cost of waiting analysis, this information matters. We got to get this into the hands of your people. Okay, so then that's my slide deck there. You guys, I haven't even gotten into the top 5 homeowner, the top 5 non-traditional loan programs. So I'm not going to go over these with you guys because y'all know them. But look at this. I just want you to look at the headings right here. See, it says first-time homebuyer. So the first one is the Covenant Down Payment Assistance Program. The second one is for sellers and buyers. It's our internal NAF cash program. The third is our bank statement loan program. The fourth is asset depletion. The fifth is our reverse mortgage program. The sixth is our non-warrantable condo program. And then lastly, these are just bonus, the DSCR program. And then I close with this. I got to get them out of this into my next event. So on February 18th, I teach clock hours. I got back into doing this thanks to Shannon Schinkel. When I first met her, we were in an Uber together and she was like, oh my God, I teach clock hour classes. I'm like, shit, I used to. I got to get back to doing these. So I got back to doing these. It's a home run. You guys, I get an insurance professional. I get a home inspector to sponsor it. They pay for the clock hours for the realtors. I provide the lunch because I'm able to do that. It's all legal. It's all good. Okay. So I got to get them to my next event. And this is how I properly do these classes. So I don't just do these classes. I don't just waste the money. I do these to provide massive impact, massive value. And then I close with, this is what I'm doing next. Number 1. Number 2, if you want this in your business, we need to connect. Now, I just had a personal coaching call with Lizzie Hoffer this morning. Her closing skills, way better than mine. I think she does like 400 deals a year. I do like 100 something. So Lizzie, so I'm giving Lizzie credit on this one, and I'm going to start implementing this today. Lizzie says, you need me in your business. Okay. If you want me in your business, if you want me to help you make an extra $30,000 commissions in the next 60 days, you need to text me right now. If you text me right now, I will set up a meeting with you and we will be in business together and I will cater to you and I will make sure that I help you grow your business. If you don't text me right now, I will not email you. I will not spam you. It's all good. But if you're serious about making money, text me right now. And she says that 3 times and she gives her number 3 times. It was gold, you guys. And this is what I'm going to do moving forward. I do more of a soft. I get them to my next event. And then what I always do is I get a roster of attendees and I send them a handwritten note card. Thank you for attending. I call them a day later. And then what I do is I email them a link to my next event. So that's my follow-up program. So there was a lot of questions that came through. My voice is on fire because I got a really bad cold. So I'm going to hand it back to Shannon. I'm going to grab a drink. But what I want to know, Shannon, is number 1, if you have any questions or ahas from that, number 1. Number 2, now we've got the event. What are you doing to get cheeks in the seats?
So real fast, Dan, let's answer some quick questions so we stay caught up on those questions. Ben, I do have continuing education. I am certified in a class about investing. Once people come to it, they don't come back. So I have partnered then with like an insurance agent where he has presented CE hours, and I've gotten people in front of providers, but my class is kind of one and done. Like you don't have to keep coming back to it. So yes, I do have that to connect, reach out to title companies to get in front of their clients. I have offered that. I don't know how Dan feels. I prefer in person. I am the second person he referenced. I want to look deep into your soul and know all of your secrets. And that's hard to do on Zoom. So whenever possible, I prefer doing these in person. Can you remind people, Dan, how they get that deck that you just presented?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to put it in the files section of the Mortgage Coach productivity community. So once I get off this call, I'll upload it to the files section. You guys will all have it.
Okay, awesome. All right. So I as I mentioned, have fear of throwing a party that nobody comes to. So I'm a little bit stalker-y in getting people there because stuff comes up. If you have 50 RSVPs, 20 show up, and it's frustrating, and it's difficult when you plan for that and then you don't get that. So couple things I do. I, for each event, will target somebody who I would like to attend. And before I invite them or before I send it out, I will engage with them on social media. I comment on their stuff. I comment on their stories. So I kind of slide into their DMs. So when they get the invitation, they're like, I already kind of know Shannon because I've made them see my name and I've made them engage in a small bit of a relationship with me. So I'm intentional on who I'm trying to get there. So when I reach out, it's not like, I've never even heard of her. It's more, yeah, we're friends. I post it. I include it in my Friday updates where I'm inviting realtors. I put it on Facebook in case somebody sees it who I'm not in relationship with already and they would like to come. I shoot a video about it the following, a week before the event. I send an email reminder the day before. Hey, we're counting on you being there. I send a text the hour before. So if you're not coming, you're kind of a real big jerk because I've reminded you like 10 times. Nah, I'm okay with shaming people.
Love that. I love that. I'm going to share this real quick, Shannon. You guys, as a gift, I'm going to also put this in the docs group. I'm sure Shannon has one that's way better than this because she's way more organized than me. But this is my event itinerary list that I work with my team on. Okay. 1 month prior, 3 weeks prior, 2 weeks prior, 1 week prior, day of, and then post. Okay. This is really, really great. You can probably plug it into your CRM. But I will share that with you guys as well. And it's all the things like Shannon just said, all the things that you need to do to send out information and make sure that people show up.
I have one. It's less technical than yours, but I'm happy to share it. I'll send it to you too, Dan.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can upload both of those. I think one of the things too that I do to get people, I will ask like my top agents and I'll say, hey, if Shannon's one of my top agents, I'll say, Shannon, I got an event coming up. Mainly I host these for my top real estate agents like you. I don't know if it's going to be of value to you in your business. It's on X, Y, and Z. If you want to attend and if you can attend, I'd love to see you. But can you do me a huge favor? Can you bring a couple of agents from your office, just maybe share it and just say, hey, I'm running out. My preferred lender, great guy. He's putting on an event. Come out with me. He's got 2 extra chairs. And so I'm leveraging relationships that I already have to go get a couple of new relationships, number one, and an endorsement. Number 2, here's what I've found. This, you guys, I don't know if you can see behind me. These are some of the top books that I read for business, mindset, motivation, all of that. One of my favorite business books, he's been in this community, especially for realtors, Michael Mayer's 7 Levels of Communication. He's the most referred realtor in America. And he talks about this when he does events. And then he wrote this book way back in 2008. So way before, Donald Trump was even anything and stuff. So, but he said, hey, if Donald Trump was coming to town to talk about business and you saw on a billboard, you might drive by that and it might pique your interest and you might show up. But then if you got an email, it might be a little bit more serious, but it's just an email. But then what if you got like a postcard? A little bit more serious, postcard to the office. What if you got a handwritten note card from Donald Trump with 2 tickets to come to his event? Okay, again, back in 2008, back when he was all about business and teaching people how to run businesses. What if he called you? What if he showed up in your office and personally invited you? So you guys can see the tier and see the level of importance in regards to the touch. So if you want to fill these, if you want to have more people, you got to go down that. An email inviting people is like surface level. Phone call, a little bit better. Handwritten note card, a little bit better, right? But maybe going into an office and saying, hey, I have this really good event. the top 5 loan programs that every realtor needs to know, non-traditional loan programs. So loan programs that you can't find at a bank, loan programs that maybe some other mortgage lenders just don't have, and it'll help you make more money. If I could show you a loan program or two that helps put $30,000 more in your bank account in the next 60 days, then, based off of what I know about you, that will make financial sense. Yeah, cool. Well, I got a free invite. I got 20 chairs. That's it. And right now I've got about 12. So I have a few chairs left and I count on you to attend. Is that something you want to do? Cool. I'm going to write you down. I'm going to follow up with you because please, I'm going to have a waiting list on this. So if it comes to a point where you just can't make it, you get sick or whatever, please let me know. Okay, cool. So I think that would add a little bit more value if you were able to go in-house and actually meet people and do that. So, okay. So
real quick, Dan,
yeah.
Can I say real fast?
Yeah.
That is amazing advice. So not just inviting somebody to an event, but giving a little nugget of this is what you can expect.
Yep.
I'm holding a lunch and learn, and I recently heard this amazing strategy to increase open house participation and people showing up. I'm going to be talking about that in so many more things. And then it's not just it's a little bit of a teaser, and they know what to expect and whether it's worth their time or not. To your point, and then kind of piggybacking on something I said a bit ago, the people that I target, that I like kind of Facebook stalk a little bit, I reach out to title companies and ask, like, who are realtors who've been complaining about their lender recently? And is there anyone you think I should know? Because they know when lenders are messing up, they know when docs come late, and they know when there's frustration. So title can be a great resource for that too.
That's huge. That is really big. Yeah. So then let's recap. So we got the topic, we got the venue, we got to get the word out. Shannon shared, I shared how to get the word out, how to get cheeks in the seats. Guys, I wouldn't shoot for more than 20. I think 20 is a really good number. I think you get more than 20, you're not going to get that personal connection. So I like 20 or less. Okay. I think we can all go and get 20 real estate agents or less. I love what Shannon just said. I love it. In fact, I'll text my team during these events where, hey, we got a room full of 15 people I've never met before. So I love it going to a title company going, hey, who's new to the industry? Who do I need to know that I can impact in their first 2 or 3 years in the industry? Who do you know, like Shannon just said, it's having a bad lending experience, it's complaining about closed deals, right? And then, you want to help me out. We got a refi boom coming. It's going to come, and we get to control title and escrow. So you want my title and escrow orders? Can you do me a favor and introduce me to some realtors right now? And I swear to God, I'll be loyal to you. Guys, I've said that twice in the last 2 months. It works. I've gotten 2 referrals from a title company, 2 new agents, and they're good agents. Okay. So going after title companies, going after broker owners, and this is all I'll say to them. Hey, in the last 2 years, which agents have joined your office that are new to the business? One of my clock hour classes, you guys, this is a great one. It's your first 2 years in real estate. Understanding marketing, understanding the market, and understanding closing skills. That's what I teach. It's a 3-hour clock hour class. That's a great one. Broker owners love that one. Okay. So we got some information on venue. We got the date, topic. We got people showing up. We talked a little bit about how to be impactful, what to say there. I kind of walked you through that on my slide deck. We talked about, hey, pick, are you a coach? Or are you just going to be fun and entertaining? Okay. That's how you open. That's your hook. I like to open with being vulnerable. All right. When it comes to business planning, I share when I was broke. I share when I had no plan. I share that I was gonna go back and be a college professor in 2014. I think you guys have all heard this story. And so I'm vulnerable. Then I met a mentor, and then I met a coach. And all I ever wanted, you guys, was a game plan. Just show me the game plan and I will run the plays. I'll figure out how to get good at the plays, but I just need the game plan. So I always try at the very beginning to share something where I'm on stage, so you're at a higher level than the audience. That's what I love about being on stage. It already gives you that level of credibility, but you can't ruin it by being a ding dong. Okay. You can't ruin it by being blah. You can't ruin it by going, hey, I just want to thank you all for being here today. Hey, thank you all for taking time out of your schedules today. Like I said, when I invited every single one of you, the content today is going to help you earn at least $30,000 in the next 60 days. How many of you guys are interested in putting another 30 grand in your bank account in the next 60 days? Cool. Okay, so let's jump into this. Now, you're probably sitting on the edge of your seat going, is this guy going to be full of crap? What is this? How's this guy going to help me make 30 grand? Well, how many of you guys have a database? Cool. How many of you guys, if you don't have a closed transaction database, how many of you guys have a wedding list? And I go right into asking questions, getting them engaged. Cool. So we all know people. We all know that out of those people that we know, they're going to make a real estate move in the next couple of years. It's just business. It's just the law of business. We know this. Okay, cool. So here we go. We have these loan programs. These are the top 5 non-traditional loan programs, and I go right into it. But how you open up these classes is so important. So now that we've got that, I want to share one last thing with you from Renee Rodriguez. I'll post this in the chat too. Now this is how you do it. This is how, when I do a video, when I teach a class, this is the script that I follow. Renee teaches this: frame, message, tie down. Frame is your hook. Top 5 non-traditional loan programs every realtor needs to know about in 2025. If you're a real estate agent, every realtor needs to know about it. That's the hook. Cool. The message, you saw me deliver that message. Now the tie down is, hey, you need a partner. If you want me to guarantee that money, we need to work together, and I'm going to help you with this because I have these programs. They're all in-house. I'm an expert in those. So that's the tie down. The tie down is you need to text me and we're going to follow up. Okay. So I'll upload that. Shannon, closing remarks, because we got like less than 5 minutes left.
I think the key is also in the follow-up after the class.
That's it.
I try to incorporate something in which I'm like, hey, I'll share this with you so that I both have a reason to reach back out. And then I can offer some like one-on-one conversation about any specific questions that they have. Without that, it's like, just being in front of a room full of people and being like, okay, bye. And there's a lot of opportunity missed there. So to find something of value to share afterwards, so you're not just the person who poured hours into them and then disappeared, because that's important as well. And then thank you so much, Dan, for the opportunity to be part of this and to share with you with the Mortgage Coach community. And I very much admire and appreciate you.
Well, you're going to follow Shannon on social media, follow her on Instagram, follow her business. She's got an incredible business. She does it the right way. She doesn't run around with her hair on fire. She's got a great team. I want to close with this because you just said something that was super gold. And I had a coach challenge me on this seriously, you guys, it's been about 3 or 4 years ago. I was doing it wrong for years. This comes easy for me because I was a former college professor, right? And a college coach. So teaching and getting in front of people, I'm okay with that. Putting together a lesson plan, I'm okay with. What I failed at is I did what Shannon just said. I would do an event. I'd have all these new people come. I'd have a great guest. And I'd go, thanks for coming. And we'll see you at my next one. And I wouldn't close it down. So there's a board right behind me. I want to challenge you. Do the event. Follow everything we talked about. Get the attendee list. And I want you to challenge yourself to convert that list to appointments and then convert that list into deals. So my coach said, it's cool that you did that event, Dan. How many new relationships, how many deals? We're going to track this for 90 days. And then we built out what Shannon was just talking about was that follow-up program. So I hope this was helpful. Guys, leveraged events protects your time. It allows you to get in front of more people. It allows you to be impactful and deliver that message. And then you can take it more one-on-one, go get that coffee with them, and then go be a part of their business. It gives you a chance to look up their numbers, all of that good stuff. There's a couple of questions. Guys, a lot of this stuff I'm going to upload into the docs section. It's 10 a.m. up here in Seattle. I do have a 10 a.m. Zoom call I got to jump on right now. I'll get to that right after. Yeah, a lot of incredible comments. Walt, 100%, I agree. Matt, if he closes his eyes, I hear Jim Rohn. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's because I got a cold. How do I get the slides? They're all going to be there. So you guys, Shannon, it was a huge honor to get to coach with you. I always learn from you. Like I said, we were in an Uber and she got me back on the horse doing clock hour classes. And I've gotten a lot of deals, a lot of new relationships just from that tip. So I want to encourage you guys, connect with people like Shannon. Connect with the people, the coaches, and the top producers in the Mortgage Coach community. Last thing, the Modern Mortgage Summit coming up in March. I get to present at that again. I'm talking about how to pre-program your clients, how to pre-program your realtors so that when you do get to meet, you're even more impactful. You're looked at as a gift, as someone that they actually want to be with versus like, what am I going to expect for this? So it's going to be another incredible event. Big time speakers. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Shannon, awesome. I love spending the last hour with you. You're a stud. Stay safe over there in all the snow in Colorado.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. And thank you to the community.
Yep. All right, you guys. That's it. Bye for now.